Welcome to TrendVerse by Uzma Amin, your destination for the latest trends in AI, online earning, blogging, finance, technology, and future skills. If you want to stay ahead, learn smarter, and grow faster in the digital world, you're in the right place. Subscribe to join our growing community. Like and share to support valuable content. Turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Let's learn, earn, and grow together.
Have you ever looked down at your phone, seen a totally random number calling, but instead of stressing out, you feel this massive wave of relief because your screen is already warning you that it's a scam? Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we are unpacking the hidden, invisible technology operating right inside our smartphones. In this explainer, we're figuring out exactly how that digital bouncer in your pocket actually works. I mean, we rely on our devices for literally everything, but we rarely stop to appreciate the silent wars they are fighting on our behalf every single minute of the day. Seriously, ever wondered how your phone instantly knows a call is spam before you even answer it? It honestly feels a bit like magic, doesn't it? 1 second, a scammer halfway across the world, or maybe just a town over, dials your digits. And the very next second, before you've even had a chance to pick the device up, your screen flashes red with a stark warning. So, how does it know? What exactly is this invisible bouncer doing at the digital door of your device? Well, as we're going to see today, it's not magic at all. It's actually a highly sophisticated, lightning-fast ecosystem working tirelessly in the background. That brings us to our first core concept, your phone's invisible defenses. This whole setup basically relies on a really powerful trinity of tools: huge databases, user reports, and AI systems. Let's look at how this builds into a global crowdsourcing loop, because this is truly fascinating, and it actually involves all of us. Apps like Truecaller and even the built-in systems from smartphone companies themselves collect information from millions of users worldwide. Think about the sheer scale of that for a second. Step 1, millions of users report a number. You or someone just like you gets a super annoying or sketchy call, hangs up and hits report. Well, the system doesn't just ignore that. Step 2, when a critical mass of people report that exact same number as spam or telemarketing, the system formally flags it in the central database. And then we get the incredible payoff in step 3. The very next time that flag number tries to call someone else, maybe you, the phone automatically displays spam risk or scam likely. So your everyday simple action of reporting a bad call literally builds a massive real-time protective shield for millions of other people across the globe. But scammers are persistent, right? They try to outsmart this crowdsourcing by constantly burning old numbers and buying new ones. That's where artificial intelligence steps in to look at behavior rather than just the number itself. And this brilliantly illustrates how AI anomaly detection works. Think about a normal calling pattern. You call your family, a friend across town, maybe a local restaurant. It's localized, it's at a human pace, it's completely normal. But suddenly, if one single number starts calling thousands of people in wildly different locations within a very short amount of time, well, a human physically cannot do that. The AI system detects this rapid-fire superhuman activity instantly. It can flag that behavior and block the spammer based entirely on their unusual pattern, even if nobody has actually had the time to report that specific number yet. And here is where it gets even deeper. It's not just the phone in your hand or the apps you download doing the heavy lifting. Telecom companies themselves are right there on the front lines using network-level protection and machine learning. These are advanced technologies actively filtering out scam calls entirely behind the scenes. Before a spam call even reaches your physical device, your service provider is using these heavy-hitting machine learning models to analyze massive amounts of routing data. They are actively intercepting millions of fraudulent calls out in the cloud. So, by the time you're even looking at your phone, a massive, multi-layered defensive perimeter at the network level has already been defending you. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it introduces a bit of a hard truth: when the system fails. Because despite all that amazing tech, this invisible shield isn't totally invincible. Let's look at the limits of spam detection. In practical, everyday terms, these failures generally look like false positives and false negatives. A false positive is when a completely real, legitimate call gets mistakenly marked as spam. For example, maybe a doctor's office or a local school is using a brand new automated system to confirm appointments or send out alerts, and the AI aggressively misinterprets that sudden burst of calls. That's a real important call that accidentally gets blocked. On the flip side, we have false negatives. This is when scam calls still manage to get through the shield. Clever scammers figure out temporary loopholes, or they spoof legitimate local numbers so well that the AI just thinks it's a normal pattern. The scam call slips right through and makes your phone ring. These two limitations are exactly why we absolutely cannot rely 100% on the technology alone to save us. It's an evolving game of cat and mouse between the system's defenders and highly motivated scammers. Because those blind spots definitely exist, we reach our next major point: protecting your personal data. At the end of the day, you are the last line of defense. So, the crucial point is knowing exactly how to act when a call does slip through. First up, avoid sharing your phone number on random, unverified websites. Every single time you type your number into a sketchy form online, you are potentially feeding the exact same databases that telemarketers and scammers use to target you. Next, never give OTPs, those one-time passwords, to unknown callers. Scammers desperately want those codes to bypass your bank or email security, and no legitimate institution is ever going to call you out of the blue to ask for your OTP. No way. And finally, do not share personal details with unknown callers, no matter how convincing or urgent they might sound. If a false negative slips through that spam filter and your phone rings, your absolute refusal to hand over personal details is what ultimately keeps you secure. It is pretty crazy when you take a step back and absorb all of this, isn't it? Your phone is basically fighting spam calls before you even pick up. Right there, in your pocket, an invisible global operation is taking place. It's using millions of user reports worldwide, deep network-level telecom analytics, and cutting-edge machine learning to detect unusual, superhuman calling patterns, all just to protect your peace of mind. But remember, the system isn't perfect, and your personal vigilance is the final key. Given that scammers are constantly evolving their tactics to beat these massive AI databases, what do you think the next generation of invisible phone defenses will have to look like to keep us all safe? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay focused, stay secure, and keep learning.